Hey everybody, this is Asbog the Gaming Orc, and this is Robocraft, the free-to-play robot building game. I think it's like Minecraft meets like basically robot fighting. It's pretty cool. It's free to play. There's lots of cool stuff. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. Talk about some of the guns. I'm going to talk about how to build your ship a little bit. First of all, we're going to talk about a few of the guns here. So basically you have SMGs, you have plasmas, you have these nano disruptors, you have Teslas, and you have railguns. So I personally think the SMG guns are the best guns because they allow you, especially the top mount ones, because the front mount ones are just for the front of your ship or the sides of your ship, while the top mount ones are, you can kind of stack them. Let's talk about each particular gun. The SMG is very good for close range fighting. So they're really good for tank specs or hover specs. They're the most popular. They can destroy enemies really close and really far, which makes them the best gun in my opinion. But each gun is sort of situational. Like if you want to destroy players, you want to destroy crystals, and still have accuracy even at long range, this is the gun you want to use. The plasma gun is really good as well. I think it's very good for destroying crystals and the enemy bases. Especially, it's really effective later on for planes and bombers. So the plane is like always moving, so it makes it a difficult target to hit. And then a lot of people that with practice, I notice when I'm fighting them, while a plane might go down if you get your helicopter blade shot off, or like one of the arrow pieces shot off, you're going to go down. But at the same time, you know, if you build enough of them, you build them right, and you build all shields on the bottom of your plane with us sort of staggered with plasma guns, you're going to do a lot of damage. Railguns are these plasma guns are good for taking out players if you get really good with precise bombing with the planes, but they're really good for taking out enemy bases and the enemy plutonium crystal. The railguns are very good as well for taking out individual players, especially like flyers, but they're more of a defensive unit. So you're staying back in your base and you're like guarding the plutonium crystal from bombers. You're also scoping the battlefield because you have such a long range shot. And again, in certain battlefields that are more open, the rail cannon is much better. You know, so each game you go into is randomly mapped. So you're like watching out in the sky. So I found that when I played with the rail cannon, I was devastating people. And lower levels are also really good. They have a very long recharge timer. So what you do is you can play the spider mech, or you play a mech with rails, or basically a mech that can go on the mountains. You go up, you shoot, and then you hide behind while your gun's recharging. You're hiding behind the mountain. So you're like just popping your head out. You take a few pop shots. And you build 6 of these. I notice a lot of people build less than 6, but 6 will enable you to have the maximum amount of shooting for this gun. And again, you want to stagger your guns. The next one is the Nano Disruptor, and this is a very good gun for healing. It's probably the best gun over the SMG if you have coordinated group play, because you want to, as a Nano Disruptor, I found the most effective healing because it's a close range bot, which makes it very good pairing with the SMG tank or plasma tank, but the plasma tanks have longer reload times. So the SMG tanks are taking like a lot of damage. They have a lot of sustain. They can take a lot of damage. And the nano guys are hiding behind a corner, healing them, and it heals them a lot. You pair that up with a tank who also has the Tesla blades, which only can be regenerated through the nanoparticles or sitting inside the base. You know, you make a very deadly, dangerous combo because the Tesla blades can recharge, so you can sit on somebody and they do a ton of damage. They do more damage than the rail cannon, and they're instantly recharged. So as the nano guy is hitting him and the tank is sitting on top of him, like really like touching them, you're just gonna literally blow through enemies. Like it'll literally take you 2 seconds to blow through someone. The Nano one is has the least amount of distance. So if you don't play with a good group, you'll be like, man, I'm not doing that well. Well, you have to play it with good teammates, obviously. So this is like you're playing with your friends. Like one of you guys is the Nano guy. Also, this gun works really well with drones. I've seen them play with small flying machines. They build them all top, and they just go around and sit on top, like of a hover drone or a drone that can fly, so they can fly in and out. If you are building your mech, I'm gonna hit the X key, and you see a line forms beneath my mech. If I right-click this, you see how two of those blocks disappeared. Or if I right-click these radars, both of them disappears. The X marks a line of symmetry down the line of my mech. It makes it easier for me to build my mech very quickly. So if I want to experiment with my mech or whatever, so I want to put those radars back on, boom, both of them are put back on. I can also rotate them, and they rotate in symmetry. It's really easy to build. It saves you half the time to build your mech, and it's just very effective. So it's a pretty smart way of doing it. There's also a thing called skirting, and I'm going to link, you can check out the description links, the idea of skirting. How damage works and why plasma, if you aim the gun at the center, apparently it does a lot of damage. But plasma does so much damage is it connects block damage. So the rail cannon does phenomenal damage. I find that the SMG does the best damage because it can do near and far damage and it has 0 reload time. I can be very dangerous with one gun. As you can see in this little video, I can snipe people from really far away with the SMG. If I select, if this block gets hit here, all blocks touching the face of that block will get hit. So cubes spread damage out, over all the surfaces of the block. So 6 sides. Any block attached to that cube will take damage. So that block is destroyed, and the damage is dispersed equally amongst all those damages. So you see how these blocks right here, this is not a perfect skirt, but you can see the concept. So say if this were to get shot, the base would try to get shot at, it would hit this red block and only hit the face of the cube is only down through that cube. So only the bottom cube would get hit. And I build my cockpit as skirted. And you can check out this other guy's video. It's in the description about how to build a skirted cockpit. And there's some other cool videos. They're really helpful. Check them out. Here's a battlefield tip. And if you're wondering how people destroy these towers so quick, this tip is just really good. The middle crystal is held together by 2 pillars, essentially, that are pinning the crystal together. All you have to do is destroy the sides of the crystal to actually destroy the entire crystal. So you don't have to ever shoot at the middle of the crystal. And if you do this, you're going to destroy these crystals about 3 or 4 times faster than you normally would. Now I don't believe you'll get as many points for overclocking. So you can see here, like, I'm destroying these crystals left and right, and I'm just destroying this. I'm aiming for the sides. The crystal's being destroyed, and the whole crystal is destroyed once I destroy both sides of the crystal. This sort of works the same with the Protonian crystal. If you try to aim at the edge, it might destroy large chunks of the crystal. So you want to aim towards where the metal meets the crystal. Another tip is you're like wondering what the letter Q does, maybe. It will allow you to, spot other enemies. And you get points for spotting other enemies. So that's why it's important to build radars. And then other people, you build the special stuff like the radars and the radar receiver. This will help you if you have your radar up. See, this is receives enemies that your allies pick up on there. So it allows you to pick up other enemies on their radar. So, and you get points, I believe, for that. So it's really important. If you hit Q, so say you visually see someone, and you hit the Q button. You see someone off in the distance. You hit Q. It'll spot them on your radar. But also helps your team out. So like say you have a sniper, one of these sniper guys, or a railgun guy who's sitting back and he's pretty good. You'll be able to see him if you spot him out. So good teammates help each other spot other teammates out because you're like, oh, there's a guy coming around the corner. Let me spot him for you. So you're like, oh, where that enemy gets spotted, and it highlights that on your map. Another tip, main building tip, is just don't neglect, skipping over these special items. A lot of people don't build radars. They don't build the jammers. The more radars and jammers you build, the more effective you are going to be spotting. So say if if I have 2 jammers and the other guy has a radar, most of the time, like, I don't see my enemies don't know I'm coming around the corner, so I just blast them. Another tip, is not to be cheap. How can I put this? If I go to the store, I can buy these higher tier robots. And you can spend, if you're enjoying the game and you're like, they put in some new robots recently, but you can buy these, basically a tier 7 robot. It costs $25. The robots themselves cost $10. And then you also get the premium points, which allow you to get double the points. So if you want to speed up the progression to the TX model, spend a little money if you're really enjoying the game and you become a higher level person. Now, if you're really low tier and you want to jump up in tier, I recommend it because you get a lot of people I see make mistakes with their shipbuilding. So say if I wanted to build a gun, you want to sort of stagger them up like this for the SMGs. Even plasma guns, you want to stagger them because you don't want the back gun to hit the front gun or any part. See how this shield, this front gun couldn't shoot low because it would hit this Tesla thing. If someone was right in front of my front of this Tesla, this would be very hard. Like, this gun wouldn't be able to hit it. You can really only build a maximum of 6 guns to gain efficiency. If you build more guns than that, they won't be fully operational. I think that's even for plasma guns, and I know it's definitely for rail guns. And SMG guns, I feel the same way. So 6 is like the magic number. And basically you need to upgrade all your guns to go to like the next tier. Like, you can see I have all tier 7 guns. My CPU is almost maxed out. And so I'm almost at tier 8 just by having 6 of the highest tier possible guns. So you want to stagger them up by about 2 to 3 blocks. So if I'm building a gun behind this, I don't want to build it like that. I don't want to have it 3 blocks high and just plop it right there because it's going to shoot that gun right in there. I see some people have the design, so I want to stagger it, build a few blocks higher so it can shoot over that gun since I'm shooting forward. So here's a weak design flaw in this particular spec. If you're attacking like these tank specs from the side, see how this gun over here is going to shoot that gun because it's going to aim. I'm going to aim right and it's going to hit this gun. And the same goes for this gun over here on this turret. This gun is the shoot over, so my tank offensive ability is pretty limited on this side. Now, another reason why this gun is really just good in general, significantly, every time you jump through a tier, you gain about double the points that you normally would get, the double of these RP points, okay? So you buy like a $10 mech, you jump immediately to tier 7, you're almost tier 8, and there's one final tip. You can see me here, I'm fighting this guy, I'm shooting him, and I notice my enemy, we're about to take over that crystal, so I self-destruct right before the crystal's taken over, and you can see me respawn immediately. So it's a trick, instead of like waiting for a minute, look at this, bam, you capture the crystal. So you have to kind of be cognizant of what your team is doing, and that way you can just pop up. That's all the tips I have for you, humans. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the battlefield.